Welcome, everyone, to Tiny Bunny. We're playing in English. Warning, this game contains offensive language. Oh god, the horror. And scenes of physical and psychological violence. Proceed with caution. Ooh, he do be looking fresh. Look at my man. Do I have anything here? I did not. Okay. I played through the intro, but it's not the same. Alright, chat. Let me know how the audio is working here. Here we go. I've been excited for this one. I've been waiting for it. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast, an endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneering, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own. The creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with its inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One would come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. Just a dream. Just a dream. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Yo, the Fox! Episode 1. The Owl Will Arrive. There have been some studies, but no concrete conclusion as to whether or not they jack up the rates. I get the feeling they do. I don't think it's technically illegal, so why wouldn't they, you know?
Убери книгу немедленно.
Excuse the fuck out of me? Hey, put away your book. That's what she just said.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
Oh no. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look how slouched you are. Fuck! Dang it, Mom, don't remind me. Hide the book. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Or Vladimir the Khrushchev, as they say in Russian. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. The fucking dumbass, you need a drill for that. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside. All because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I loved that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. These are 2 wildly unrelated things, kid. You don't get fucking jellyfish in the trees. What's wrong with you? The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. You guys can't see it, but they're not green. They're gray. I'll move my camera so you... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll move the game. There you go. Look at that. Now go back to where you were, you piece of shit. God, I hate OBS sometimes. Anyway, there you are. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. The video's not right. Is wrong. Little black bar under where it's supposed to be. Hey, good enough, whatever.
Что я говорила?
What did I just say?
Я достану.
I'll get it. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of the chair getting pushed back. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this, carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Hey, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? Nah, she's been in a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was my mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or maybe the thick forest? Damn, he do be thick. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Oya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. It's free real estate.
Тайга особое место, дитятка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается, принюхивается,
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out,
словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times
А
of trouble.
будешь проказничать, схватит за бочок и утащит с собой под землю.
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the
Тут и
ground.
дело с концом.
And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. That's kind of creepy. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. Hang on. How'd they spell that? Okay, I read that as like critar. I turned my gaze to the frosted window. Is that gonna be a fox there? Maybe an owl? There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля,
There it
гляди,
is.
лиса!
Oh yeah, look, it's a fox.
Где?
Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a bit and look at a certain angle,
Да не на улице,
not
на
outside,
стекле.
on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look, here's the nose and here's...
Ну-ка, доедай.
Hey, eat up. I'm turning off the voices. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Go away. See you later. Yeah, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Oh, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now, I couldn't see the fox either. I still see it. It's still, it's still right there. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. I don't know, these kind of look like eyes. Like you see, you got eyes, you got the bridge of a nose. Faces in the frost is always fun. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. This man is an absolute Chad. Look at that. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Fucking same, kid. Holy shit. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Why is this a bad thing? Oya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Dick. I don't even want to finish it. It was so scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken to 2 different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. What the fuck does that mean, lady? What are you talking about? You're a grown man, a father of 2, and still, Karina, please, stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. So you moved them and then said maybe you left them there, maybe you did. What do you mean? Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl. There was no owl. There was no spoon. That was really good timing on the music for that. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Or giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? Who is Babai? Glossary of terms. Babai, in Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. Oh, okay, nice. It's the boogeyman. But I saw it! Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, I gotta move my camera again. She's doing the face. Look at that. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tapes, which Dad had already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example, but how do you fix a relationship? Relationship glue. Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Whoa, hello. And Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick they could to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone, and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Yeah, it's called Twitter. Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creature was looking out at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloody shoes? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. The damn school can burn for all I care. Just put Elmer glue on it? Yo, real shit. You know, you use Elmer's glue, you get that thing where you like get to peel it off your skin once it dries. You know, you feel like a snake or something, like a lizard just molting. That's real shit right there. That's... If you didn't do that as a child, you're lying. You're a liar. I'm on to you. I just wish for anything to happen to it. It didn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. He's a pretty good artist if that's his, though. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? Moon? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was literal. And now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. This is Five Nights at Freddy's. Thick glasses shaming? Yeah, if you can't see properly, go fuck yourself. Get better eyes, dumbass. Or wear contacts like the rest of us. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if old photos of my diseased family, not deceased, diseased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. Piano. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One would think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It'd been playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone was playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Monka? Someone was dancing in the field. Ow, werewolves of Moscow. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music stopped. Enemy spotted. That is fucking creepy, though. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Nope. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around inside like a bird inside a cage. There we go. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right. They circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped to the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll, ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling out her eyelids with their tiny little legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spells she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue stands a cabin made of wood. Evil leave this house must. Do I do the Yoda voice again, chat? We have a clip of it from last time I did this.
Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, someone or something was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness, and then the doorknob twitched, ever so slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as though the person trying to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear, my wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the cavernous mouth of a doorway. To Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "Tony, you asleep?" My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. "Olya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen?" She frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. "It's there again, staring at me. Shoo away, Tony, please. I'm so scared." The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. "It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's gonna harm you." She sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me, but was I sure myself? "I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, yeah?" What does the Sleeping Beauty have why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Is the bird gonna kiss her? Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window and couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. "Tony, you coming?" Yeah, just a moment." Whoa! What the fuck? Hey now. Hey now. Got him. Holy shit, dude. Wow. Fuck, I knew that one was coming too, and it still got me. Oh my god. Oh, got me with the false sense of security. I thought the horror had passed. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I played through this chapter before. You know, Tiny Bunny is coming out in parts. There are like 6 total chapters planned, and I think 3 are out now. Does that mean you died? Nah, dude, it was just a dream. And dreams don't bite. Remember? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides. Tony, come here! I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen them? Wait. The policeman held out a photograph to me. It said that was Mom's dialogue, though. The fuck? Have you seen this boy? No? You have now. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right, your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way, getting used to it? Bit by bit, it's just our little daughter misses the city a whole lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is all right, thank you. The policeman pierced me through once more with his great eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Ha. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? Tony, my boy. You know what? I'm gonna go announce this on some other Discords. I don't normally do this, but I feel like this one is a special occasion. We don't normally do horror games either. I'm gonna go tell Lucky. Promote yourself. Playing a little horror game called Tiny Bunny. Send it. Send it in. Good shit. Good shit right there, right there. Sixths. Have you made any friends around here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. What is the tiny bunny, though? You'll find out. You'll find out. Also, I'm surprised nobody clipped me getting spooked by the wolf. Somebody ought to do that. Maybe I'll do it after the show. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Would they accuse each other like they always do? And eventually forget about me? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. I thought that was teeth for a second there. The police UAZ drove off towards the village. Glossary of terms. UAZ, a Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand, which was introduced in the Ulyanovsk car factory. Cool. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read this summer. Jeez, they're really hitting us with all the glossary terms. Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policeman footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy and get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll save us from the D word. Damn, Daniel. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi. I missed the rest of that. And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. Hell yeah, little man, go get it. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. God damn. Accountant. A song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Kombinatsia. Combination. It became widely popular in the early 90s. Alright, we're gonna have to look that one up. Remind me to put it on after the stream. What's it called? Kombinatsia. Kombinatsia. Accountant. That is a goofy thumbnail. Anyway, we'll come back to that. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job was like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I give her my share, too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside! Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I just said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. That is not the sound of splashing water. That sounded like somebody shat their fucking pants. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Ah, no, let me save. We've got branching pathways all of a sudden. To kitchen. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them all. What is pelmeni? A variety of Russian dumplings made by boiling thin, unleavened dough filled with mincemeat. That sounds pretty good, actually. I ought to try that sometime. Yo, what? The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer that visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov. I read inside my mind, looking up at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place, where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. We'll lie to Mom later, maybe. There's a lot to check here. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little and she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the secession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Dude, tops are great. I have a top, actually. I don't know where I put it. I think it's in my closet. But yeah, it's one of those you wrap a little string around the top of it and then like kind of flick it out and it goes. It's great. I used to be pretty good at it. I have not tried in many a year though. A gyroscope? I think gyroscope is a different term entirely, but it's the same idea, you know? It's just spinning to keep itself upright. How about we open this? The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe, and Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears. Once I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count inside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. That's kind of mean. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. Okay, time to lie to Mom. It was difficult to lie to Mom. I still see the fox, by the way. And that kind of looks like a lion, too, right there. There's no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture's dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. You're killing me here. Have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Weird, it worked fine this morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Run. Let's save again real fast. This feels important. You can dig the Russian band. That's cool. I'm glad they're good. I would like... Is that an owl? Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. There's gonna be fucking Slenderman in these woods. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. That time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. Been there. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple days before we departed. Hey, Grizz! Audible, hire this man to read them books? Thank you, thank you. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us From who, though? From the people with the dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? What? Huh? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, this white field, and that wind that was whipping up an icy dust, and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with this blinding whiteness. Dude, it's like the Matrix. I missed the fucking dialogue. I double-clicked. Hang on. Knobby tree roots slithered into the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. It does say knopped. I don't know how you read Russian. I wish I did. Oh, fuck. It's a mitten. Something about the trees. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drawing in the snow. When I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV series called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Voila! I heard it means sports. Oh, that's great. He's got a hat that just says sports all over it. I like that. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Voila! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Voila! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Voila! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Where? Where is the hiding figure? What? Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground. What are they talking about? Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh, fuck. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I returned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of that sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Oh god, I gotta save. Oh, I gotta save. Oh no, dude. You gotta take it. You gotta take it. Into the woods. Into the woods. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Why? Fuck you. Vova! Fucking shadow demons, man. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. A shout rumbled. Wait, that's the same fucking line. What? I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in the freezing air. They sensed my fear. 2 giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot. A wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried-up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry! Run! Don't look back! It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous, like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped from out of the hole, and my soles were on hard surface once again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Hey, Bigby. What's up, man? Someone filled the mitten with ketchup. Pranked. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. She looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants with plastered snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shone like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me, I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant. She covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear I heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns in the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays with no name and no owner, barely reminding me of the hungry monsters that lived on the edge of the forest. Boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd be rather scared of you, Anton. Dude, wild dogs are not something to fuck with. That's absolutely a reason to be scared. You don't mess with the mutts. They were chasing me like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom? I wish your dad would just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Anton's mom has got it going. I know. No kidding. Anton was right when he said the most beautiful woman in all of Russia right there. You're not a little kid anymore. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this mitten? Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. The boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away like the officer told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept in my mom's contorted face. She was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop at this instant. Olya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. You joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was wet from snow. There was no blood at all. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. Uh-oh. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. I'm giving him the schizophrenia medication. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. What? Just like the forest monsters and Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing a yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? Something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything all right? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. It's all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric was discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth has a different taste. A little memory from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes, and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the different puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. Jafar. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. I slowly opened the door. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. Achievement unlocked. Where are you, Vova? You obtained a mitten. Neat. How many achievements are there? A lot. A lot. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a savant of sorts. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped slowly by the soft curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Ba-doom, ba-doom, beat my heart, controlled by the medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices.
For a second I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, "Dad, she's not some flashlight." But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light-woven child. I saw everything! Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. "It's nothing, just..." Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. Whoa. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest. From the tilted figure behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. "Then show me!" "Swear you won't tell anyone, and then I'll show you." She wore a plotting smile. "I swear on Mom's heart, I don't like that." I know she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we watched. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and she leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. "Is this someone's mitten?" She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. "A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself." Now do you understand how dangerous it is to wander into the forest? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Dude, the art in this game is gorgeous. Look at this. And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of the icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how'd they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later? For me. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right? She wasn't listening to me. Alright, glossary, what do you want? Okay. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human, but you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? I think it's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. She shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, I was just hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you make them small as bugs, we could place them in a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on! It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Come on, kid. Get out there. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? So much happens after that. Let's go, let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? I'll leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it. Leave me alone already. Oh, no. Oh no. Kid's under some stress. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. All right, let you win. Let's go watch cartoons. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Oh, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't, and I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Yeah. Close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and let you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just like how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Want to bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. She disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. The fuck? Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. She doesn't sleep without it. She digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as twilight comes, she shuts them at night so she won't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. I think that's just about everything. Little piggy bank. She's saving money for a real puppy because Dad said taking care of him will take a lot of money. Aw, that's cute. Let's save again. The old Photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. Click. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached on to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy, resembling human speech, was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV stations only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy strength, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Oh, geez, Scoob. Search or set? Let's see where they both take us. Let's save real quick. You gotta search. You can't disappoint the kid. I sifted through shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. Got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding at the beginning. The rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us, and Olya, you haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through rough times. Rough times are lame. Pun the screen. Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog, Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too? The croc. Yeah, right. I'll have my own dog in the Neverland and a cat and a parrot. She smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Is condensed milk good? I've never had it. Have you lost all your baby teeth? Obviously. Olya frowned deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land without adult teeth? We'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. Why would Dad forge documents? She took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. He will! I heard Mom did that before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Oya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. Condensed milk is more for cooking. It's thicker and got a creamier taste to it. Okay. Apparently they use it as jam here. That's kind of neat. She was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there in a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. I felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops and toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad, too. He thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You believe me, right? It comes every night, and I grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. Did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, all right? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist, and it never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Her eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field when Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple, as if sound sleep would ensure my classmates like me. It works, man. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming to something invisible, rustling in the corners. Oh, humming to something, comma there. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all, the day I feared the most, the first day of a new school term. Episode 2, Time to Play With You. Hang on, let's take a save. I want to see the other option. I know there are several paths, but this is the option I want to go with. So we're going to go there. I'm going to load that. Let's see what the other option has for us. Set it. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing. A voice barely coming through the cacophony. It was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was a pitch-black night at the cemetery. In that fateful, dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless little girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow. Something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown about all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, such a fearsome beastie it is. Worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. What the fuck? And a stink. It's like... The rest of her comparison was swallowed by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes, right in the middle of day. So huge, that one with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, put you into his bag, and you're done. Ha! But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems, so they call me the Devil's Wench, and it's definitely true. A carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Forest Master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, it most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you better hide. It's coming for you. If you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon. Uh-oh. Jump scare? Yep, there it is. Hello. Fucking hell, dude. Come on now. TV went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and a low howl of the beast. I woke from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape, and for a moment I thought it was stained with saliva. That was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. Then I saw the cover. Oh no, I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the sneaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective. You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe you should watch The Little Mermaid instead? I've already seen it so many times, and you promised me. She's so stubborn. Let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first, deal? She frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized the can was already open. She tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but she was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, "Gotcha, gotcha!"
You fool! As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan!
I couldn't open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps in the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I'd better tell the truth. Oh, yeah, stop. I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. Nice. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a lead ball, now rested in my hands. She smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. When the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Neverland like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there in the land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fight the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter's Pan was especially far away for me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled over the horned beast that awaited me among the trees. The narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines like a winged carnivore would track its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. "Tony, shut the curtains fast!" Every time I see Tony, I think of like the fucking Sopranos voice. Hey, Tony, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You believe me, right? It comes every night, and... I grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. Did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. But it wants me to look! Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and like it never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had ever happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Peter Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Her eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song, and the world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Another moon peeked from under the first one. Scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Olya. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olya's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into the room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Oh, hey, achievement get. Hey, Tony, shut the fucking curtains already. Jeez, what's wrong with you? The owl's coming. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything's so simple, as if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. Yep. That's it. Next chapter. Imagine being teased for being sleepy. I mean, it happened to Joe Biden. It can happen to you too. All right. Well, there we go. I'm gonna save real fast since we've started ourselves on a different path here, and then I'm gonna use the restroom and get myself a bite to eat because I've gotten hungry.